How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming, man.
Big up to GUAP magazine and Elijah Blake. Hey, hey.
Yeah, turn up.
So how have you found it so far?
I love the UK. I love London culture.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. How long have you been here since?
About a week now.
Oh, okay.
About
cool.
a week. That jet lag is a motherfucker.
Oh, wow.
I'm literally like, can you see? I look like Ren and Stimpy with the red eyes.
It's been affecting you.
Yeah, it hits you. And it's crazy because like I'll go to sleep. And like 2 days ago, I woke up like at 10 a.m. So I'm like, okay, I'm on the time.
UK time,
please.
Yeah.
3 hours later, I'm like, somebody give me a Red Bull. So
that's mad. Okay. So first question. I listen to music. Big fan. Big fan. But for those that like don't know and like who are like sort of just finding out about Elijah Blake and stuff. So who is Elijah Blake? What do you represent? Personal style?
Elijah Blake is, to me, if the music industry was like the X-Men.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
My superpower right now would be fearlessness.
Oh, nice.
And not to say that I've accomplished it all the way. That's like me in the purest form, in my most powerful form.
Yeah.
And I'm just coming into that. And you know, it's kind of like how Jean, right? She hasn't harnessed her whole power. So you know, your eyes lit up, so you know.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of times when you say superpowers, people think you've already like you just snap your finger and it happens. But it's like me, I know that when I'm at my full potential and at my best is when I'm completely fearless and embracing my inner weirdo, you know. And I've kind of like given that up in the last couple projects, and I'm trying, and this project more than ever, just kind of like embracing the fact that, you know, when people you hear so many times like, Elijah, you're underrated, but it's like maybe I am slightly underrated, but also there's something in being not. Just acknowledging that you're not for everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that you don't really cater yourself for everybody.
I hear that.
You know what I mean? And not being manufactured in that way and owning that. You know what I mean? So right now I think Elijah Blake is like weird, but like fearless, but at the same time progressive and forward thinking and being liberated in that mindset and being comfortable in that world and saying, okay, I'm a Gemini and I'm sensitive as fuck and I'm borderline bipolar, but owning that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely,
yeah,
I respect that totally.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit about your project, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So when are you dropping that?
It's a summer album, so definitely summertime.
Okay, so we've got a lot of summer jams to look forward to.
The crazy thing is like it's mainly up tempos. It might be like one or two slow songs, so it's like that's different for me.
Yeah,
that in itself, like King Emo. Like I'm like the emo prince.
So how was that then? Like, so you said like you're normally like a little bit like low key, R&B-ish, slow jams, but like the transitioning from like now like big tempo and stuff. Like where did that inspiration come from? Or?
The funny thing is, I would notice a disconnect. And that's the thing about artistry, right? You have to have different facets to yourself.
Yeah, sure.
So the last albums are really like chill and smoky, but people would meet me, they would expect me to be like a weed head.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll pass on it and they'll be like, what? Like, you make weed smoking music? Like, it's not right. Like, I feel so deceived. And they'll see like a big kid, you know what I mean? So this project, that's embracing my inner big kid, but it's still soulful elements. It's not like, hey, it's not happy either, but it's like, it makes you feel good as opposed to just happy. You know what I mean? So certain songs, and I just want to dance this go around. You know, in the videos, I'm always trying to incorporate as much choreography as I can.
Yeah, I think it's still my jam. I just want to know. And you are dancing. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, you know the moves too. Hey.
Yeah, I read that you used to teach hip-hop.
Yeah, that's how
I'm a dancer too, so I was like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, yeah, so no, when I was living in Atlanta, and I was doing my development deal with Songbook in Atlantic, and I was broke as shit. the job I could get at 16 years old was teaching at a hip-hop dance studio on the street. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's the best form of expression. Dancing.
Yeah.
Like I go on YouTube sometimes just watch how people just dance to other people's songs in certain classes, like Tricia, Miranda.
No, I say.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So tell us about your inspiration from? Is it like from other artists, or like is it like legendary artists? Like a lot of people say like, oh, Michael Jackson is like.
Prince is mine.
Oh really?
Yeah, of course everybody loves Michael,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the artists who, in terms of for this project and what the music they make and how they made me feel, for me it's Prince, who he was, even how shady he was, and just everything about Prince is just amazing and brilliant, and just how he was like, he led the weirdo coalition, like just, he just was just dope to me. Yeah. Him, David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, fashion, like to know that he like was prominent for only a few years, but he stands as one of the top fashion icons. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
That's why I love being in London and taking in this air, because it's like Bowie and Hendrix was. Yeah. Yo, this is like Fearless Valley, you know. So those are my biggest inspirations. But for this album, it really was my childhood and my church roots and things that happened to me growing up in the church and my struggles with religion. You know, I grew up in an island family, so like, I felt like one moment we were Catholic and the next moment we were Baptist, then we were Seventh-day Adventist. I'm like, what are we? Like, you know what I mean? You have to learn so many. You're talking about the same God, but so many different
aspects
of him. You know what I mean? So you're like, which one is he? You know what I mean? And it forces you to find God for yourself.
Yeah. How important is it for you to like sort of get your message out there to like people who are really listening? And, like, what is the message that you want to send to them? Like, if you could tell them.
Well, getting my message out there is the most important, not even just my message, but a bigger message out there is the most important thing, because when we die, all this, you know, these accolades and these BMI awards, like, yeah, they live on, but it's more about, like, did we change the world? You know what I mean? Not just change the chart for a week and then the next week it's another #1 song or it's another top 10. It's like every day I wake up, somebody else is like, you know what I mean? There's another way, there's another record that somebody's breaking. Now the records are so specific. It's like first black artist to have 5 #1s and two of them were on a full moon, and it's just like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So, but I want to change the world. I want to make us laugh more. I want to make people smile more. And I think in the past, people have heard Elijah Blake, a form of Elijah Blake, but also in different costumes. Sometimes the label was like, do this and be this artist. And I will fight, but you can only fight so much. You know what I mean? And this time I feel like you're getting me. That's why on the cover, I'm like, the cover is really self-explanatory. It's just like skin and bones. Like, this is who the fuck I am. Like, you're not gonna see a pair of shoes or a brand and be like, oh, he's going this way. I just want you to hear the music and say, is the music good, and is that the vibe? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. I was on Twitter and I said, oh, I'm gonna be speaking to Elijah Blake. Has anyone got any questions? And this girl was like, oh my gosh, can you ask him about the Strange Fruit visuals? They were the best thing.
Oh wow.
So talk a little bit about well, Strange Fruit, it was, the visuals were great. So what inspired that? Like,
people want to kill me over that video. Like, I try not to read my comments, but one day I just was like scrolling, and people were like, how dare you insult like the true heritage of Strange Fruit? And honestly, I'm aware of what Strange Fruit meant to that. But at the time, I literally was talking about my struggle with faith and Christianity, and how, and alcohol abuse and all kinds of things. It's like, if you look at the Garden of Eden, how God said to Adam, like, you can have everything in this world, no pain, no suffering. You can have everything on this tree, you just can't eat this apple. And a woman, you know, just his lustful desires was able to make him sacrifice all of that and do it anyway. And that's what Strange Fruit was about. It was about that fruit on that tree. And what was so strange about that, God offered him all this stuff, and it just don't touch this one fruit. You know, and it was from that aspect. I wasn't trying to disrespect Lady Day or nothing. But people took that and was like, you mother. They were ready to kill me. And I'm like, that's like me doing a song about boots, and people are like, you know what I mean? There's only so many words in the human vocabulary. Like, we can't start like just taking them and being like, okay, we're removing this one because Billie Holiday made an amazing thing. We can't do that. That's true. You know, so, but for me, I wanted to depict that struggle with that's why you see the serpent, and I'm terrified of snakes.
Really?
So that snake being on my neck, dog, was about to take me out of here. Like, if y'all would, if the director.
How long was the shot? Was it?
It was like at least maybe 30, 40 minutes. Maybe an hour.
Oh, wow.
But if the director would leak, if he ever wants to embarrass me, just leak the in-between takes of me and that damn snake. The thing was so heavy, it was like I had somebody took a Firestone tire and put it around my neck. It's all muscle. And at one point the snake came out and like kind of was like doing this little dancing thing. And I said, hold on, what's going on here? And then the snake charmer, the owner, was like, oh, I was just looking at you, sizing you up to see if they could eat you or not. And that's when I was like, cut, you got the take? Yeah, let's keep it moving, you know?
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I feel like that's where one of my biggest fears is being misunderstood.
Okay.
I don't know if a lot of people share that, but I think that's why I overly articulate myself sometimes and I talk a lot because I'm like, do you understand? Do you really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So visuals is my way of saying, okay, if you didn't get it with the song, and you didn't watch this video, and I'm gonna try to drive it home for you. So for me, like, visuals is amazing. So to hear that to hear you appreciate that, and a fan on Twitter appreciate that, it lets me know it's okay. Cause I'm like, y'all are so boring now. I watch videos of some of my favorite songs, and it's ruined because it's just like a dude with shades in front of a black wall, and the blue light is like, doing this, and I'm just like, song ruined.
Yeah.
In the 90s, like, Aaliyah had the owl come out and land on her hand,
Literally, mirrors everywhere.
I'm like, I wish I was born in the 80s, like, so I can enjoy the 90s for what they were. I was a baby in the 90s, you know.
So we spoke a lot about your projects and stuff, and I also seen that you co-wrote Climax.
Yes.
So how was that, like, working with Usher, and also No Love Allowed?
Yeah. For real, yeah.
How was that, like, working with all these artists? And
it's crazy because, you know, you grow up listening to these people on the radio.
Yeah.
You're like, they're sitting like this, like, and then they're like, well, what about your album? You know what I mean? And it's like, you care about my album?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, oh, you just being nice. And then you come to the studio the next day, like, play me that song again. And they're like, oh, you really rock. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what really pushed me. If I could thank Usher for anything, it would be really lighting that fire. Like, Climax, when we did that song, it was, of course, like, I don't know if anyone knew what it was at the time.
Yeah.
But when it came out and I saw how it affected people and how it affected R&B, and just to hear like how it kind of became apparent to like what the sound is now.
Yeah.
The progressive, like the R&B, but a progressive R&B with the electronic elements, and so that's, to be a part of that is amazing. But also like just sharing music with Usher and Nathaniel and no, not Nathaniel. I said Usher and Natural and which is his MD, and Diplo at the time, just bouncing ideas back, all that musical inspiration and information. He played me some songs that didn't even make confessions, and just when I left those sessions in New York and I got back to LA, I had to put it into something, and that's why I feel like Beat You 22 was such. It was such a cohesive body of work, but it was so different at the time when it came out, and it helped cement like the foundation for who Elijah Blake was, because I was coming back with this information and how to use it and how to shape who I am. You know what I mean? So yeah. So it was cool. It's always amazing, and to be able to call your peers friends and like brothers and sisters. Like, and you know, when I remember when I ran into Rihanna at the 4040 Club when I was on Rock Nation. And right after the Unapologetic album came out, she was like, you know, she's like, I love your mind. And, you know, Jay was like, this is Elijah, you did No Love Allowed. She's like, I love your mind is so sick. And at the time I couldn't really process it because I just was like this, like she was so beautiful. You know what I mean? So, but sometimes I do sit back and I'm just like, wow, thank you God, like this is my job, like this is what I get to do.
Yeah, totally. So, can we expect any shows?
Yes, a lot of shows. That's been the thing that it's like, should Elijah, you know, I grew up performing arts high schools, and that's where I want to be for the most part with this project, is performing and dancing in a band. And I'm a church boy. I love, you give me a mic, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna turn it out. So I want to do more of those. So that's why this me coming out here and doing this tape lodge thing. It's a kind of a new thing they have going on right now.
Yeah.
Where we come out and it's kind of like an unplugged session. So I got to tease some new songs from the album, but I really want to do some serious touring this go around, and I have the right team. They're touring gurus, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to explore that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you for coming through.